We had earlier shared that the task force was aiming to complete the clearance of workers in the dormitories by the first week of August. And I'm happy to report that the team has indeed been able to complete the testing of all workers in the dormitories and will do so by tomorrow, 7th of August. So what remains are the workers who are in isolation. Right? They have been cleared from the dormitories, but they are remaining in isolation in quarantine facilities. This final batch of workers who are in isolation will stay in isolation, complete their isolation period, and will be tested before they exit from their quarantine facilities. And that's why, as you've heard from the Director of Medical Services, you will still see volatile case numbers over the coming days, perhaps over the next 2 weeks, because as these workers complete their isolation and we subject them to a test, we don't know how many will be testing positive or negative, right? It may be that very high numbers test negative and then we will have very few case counts. But it may also be that quite a large number test positive, and then on occasion you may see spikes in the cases. But we expect that to continue only for the next 2 weeks because we are dealing with the final batch of workers who are in isolation. Thereafter, we do expect the number of cases to taper down significantly because we would have cleared all the workers by then. Finally, I should add that just because we have COVID-cleared dormitories doesn't mean that we should assume these are permanently COVID-safe dormitories, because we all know that the virus can flare up again, and that's why we are putting in place safeguards, particularly to ensure that all the workers in the dormitories will still be taking routine and regular tests once every 14 days. So that process and that regime, on top of all the safe management practices that are in place, will continue. And we will ensure and do our very best to working with the employers and the contractors to make sure that construction activities, that all of these activities that are of a higher risk nature will be done in a safer manner going forward in order to minimize the chances of large clusters forming in this sector again. So we will do all we can to put in place these additional precautions. At the same time, for all of us in the community, we again must not be complacent. By about the second half of August, as I said, with the dorm cases tailing off, we should see the total number of cases in Singapore coming down. Not just the cases in the community, but the total number of new cases every day should come down significantly by end August.